I don't care what anybody says. I love that intro. Welcome into the Pucknologists, episode 87 here on Tealtown, USA. And stick taps today to Puck Guy and Chris JWS. 5 years ago today, we evidently, I barely remember, but did our first, back when it was Pucknology, did our very first episode, back when we were literally the only ones doing video, basically the second Sharks podcast, and now everybody's got one. In fact, I'm feeling anxious enough. Might just start another Sharks podcast later this week. See what happens. Rolling with me tonight, Rocket Backhander.
Ladies and gentlemen, I occupy your happiest dreams and your worst nightmares. I am Rocket Backhander. I love you all.
And Hockey Jerk.
I'm going to disagree with you there on the intro song.
Jesus.
Contrary. I think we should spend 20 minutes talking about this. No, I'm just kidding.
I think that it should be dirt. It should be Sandstorm.
Ooh.
I'm going to kill you now.
Or we could have
Let's
Landy.
get the show
We could have Landy play us something on the guitar.
Depends on how much stipend I give him. All right, let's go. If you love us on the social, you can find us there. Tealtown USA is everywhere, so go find us. And remember, every once in a while, we kind of jump on that Discord and sometimes take you well into the night. Let me let you know. And don't forget, if you miss any of our shows, you can always find them on your favorite podcatcher and on YouTube. So, hey, we go live every Sunday, but if you want to catch us on your commute into work on Monday morning, we're there for you. So, let's get into this. Week 14 of the Sharks of the NHL, essentially just beyond the halfway point of the season. Since we last spoke with you, the Sharks have gone 2-1-1 versus Detroit, Pittsburgh, Columbus, and Washington. In the last 10 games, they are 4-4-2, 6 points out of a wild card spot as it stands right now. Okay, we're going to try to rip through these as fast as possible, but we're probably going to do a little... Okay, well, here we go. So New Year's Eve, the Sharks play at Detroit, come out with a 1-0 loss. How you can't score on the worst team in the league. You know, it's like being in a women's prison, not being able to score with a handful of pardons. I don't get it. They get off 34 shots on goal, 3 power play chances, cannot score. A bad turnover from EK65, which will be a theme to this show, by the way, in the neutral zone would lead to Detroit's only goal. Even Baker and Hetty were calling him out, so it's not just me, so don't at me about this. Jones posts a 955 after posting a 963 in the game prior, so can't blame that one on the goalies. Can't blame a loss on the goalies when you don't score. And speaking of calling out EK, here's Captain Couture.
Oh, I mean, defensively we've been better. We've been tighter in the D zone. I still think we've made too many turnovers. I think we've given up chances off of our stick too often. And that's something that needs to change. I get guys are trying to create plays.
So there you have it. Just a little bit kind of, shall we say, eyeballing EK65, but it is what it is. We move on after losing to the worst team, and boom, at Pittsburgh, the Sharks would spend some time in practice on Wednesday on their power play. Thursday, Bob Bugner said that the plan before the game was to watch video of the times they have scored with the man advantage. Can't imagine that took very long. Either way, the power play would save the Sharks in overtime after San Jose coughs up not one but 2 leads in this and would take home a 3-2 victory in overtime. Then we move on to Columbus, where if you say something wrong, you get a $20,000 fine. So the Columbus Blue Jackets were nice enough to give the Sharks a 3-2 win. Brendan Dillon out here like the human bumper car he is, hitting everything in sight. Goodrow would open the scoring coming out of the penalty box. LeBanc would get the game winner after putting one off the pipe just a minute before that. EK65 would deflect the final shot for Columbus, so good on him. But this was also the game where Couture had to bail out a very soft play from EK65. And there you go. Now, Kerr's prodded him on a little bit in postgame, but I'm fine with that. And then finally today at Washington, the Sharks piss away a 4-2 lead in 45 seconds. I don't understand. And Evander hat trick goes to waste in the final minute. The Sharks lose in overtime 5-4. Jones, for some reason, felt that 59 minutes was that's all he could stand to play today. Although there was at a point in this game where Erik Karlsson went full-on disconnected controller. Goodrow, if he could clear when it was 4-2, I think that could have been a difference. But today's game, as we're recording this later, following the Washington game, is the first time in NHL history a team came back to win a game in which they trailed by multiple goals, with one of their opponent's goals being scored on an empty net. So, hey, history made.
I don't care.
It was the first empty net goal in a loss in San Jose history. But I will say the best part of this, like if you really want to find something to take from this, Kuznetsov tried to go full-on hurdle between the legs, top shelf, totally whiffs on it. I don't know if he got a bad batch of cocaine, but Kuznetsov, I don't know why you're trying that, dude. But anyway. So over the 4 games, Rocket, what do you like and what do you not like, and what's the problem here?
I don't want to discuss the problem because I don't know what the problem is. They have the wrong. They're still getting Costco brand fruit snacks instead of going to Whole Foods. I don't know, man. Whatever they're doing, I think that the change in the garden coaching staff is chipping away little by little at finding a good working identity for this group instead of trying to pigeonhole this group into a different identity. And for, I don't know, what they're given that half the season is gone, I think that they're making, market progress. I just wish that this team would stop with it's just the bad habits are still there.
Mm-hmm. And I see in the chat here, Sleepy Mofo bringing up, what about the no interference call on Dowd regarding EK65? There was that. Hey, Evander Kane took an elbow to the grill. No call. But, hey, if you want to talk about that, that was on After Dark earlier today. We're talking about the week that was. We'll get there. Jerk, your take from the week.
Well, Rocket said that the first half of the season is gone. I hope we find it. But a lot of good happened this week. I mean, as you said, 2 1-1 record, which if you extrapolate that over an 82 game season, that's a pretty respectable record. Of course, small sample size, but I'm hoping it's a sign of things to come. Goaltending dialed in, defense dialed in for 93.5% of the time. So the stupid mistakes that the Sharks were making, it appears as though they've cleaned that up a bit, which is obviously fantastic because, as everybody knows, when you let in more goals than you score, you lose. So that was obviously cool to see. I was very pressed on Twitter today following the Capitals game. As you know, Martin Jones, he did lay an egg at the end of that game. I had some words on Twitter. I won't repeat them here. That'll be for Discord. But, yeah, other than that.
What were you quoting Erik Karlsson by any chance?
No, I was quoting Danny DeVito.
I was quoting Erik Karlsson myself. Are you effing kidding me?
No, I thought that too when he got that cross-check right in the lips. That was ridiculous. And, I mean, I guess good on Burns for stepping up for his boy there, but I don't care if it's a Shark on the other team or vice versa. You don't like to see a guy get punched in the back of the head like that. As for the not so good, I mean, and even then, I wouldn't even call this bad. I would just call it not good or kind of okay. Is the Sharks aren't really scoring a lot of goals right now. And we saw it put them in a tough spot against the Red Wings. As you said, AJ, you got shut out by the worst team in the league right now, and I'm going to say it, the worst team in the salary cap era, which goes back to 2005 for those who don't know. So, yeah, some more goals would be nice. I don't know if you maybe put some guys on their off wings to try and drive up some offense, maybe call somebody up from the Barracuda. I don't know what you do, but
they need to chase their rebounds more. I think what it looks like. I just don't. it seems like they post up somebody in front of the net, but then they end up scrambling so hard for the puck that once the rebound bounces out, there's nobody there to actually shovel it back into the net, and then it gets pushed out.
Yeah, that's
I think if the Sharks can up their rebound control, it will help the offensive production.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you there. I mean, we've seen a lot of one and done, right? Especially this season. And the other thing too, this is kind of a power play thing. I mean, it's hard to complain about the power play. It was 2 for 3 against the Capitals. So I mean,
yeah,
kind of hard to complain. But I did notice a couple times, and I've had this conversation with many people on Twitter and the like, where you've got the extra man on the ice. So if you can't find an opening into the zone, just dump it in and use the extra man to go chase it. And I saw a couple times, I know one in particular, Meyer kind of pulls a move at the blue line, lost the puck, and then Kane got the puck at the blue line, dumped it right into the feet of the Capitals defenseman, and it was out of the zone. So it's just, it's simple things like that. And I spoke about it a couple weeks ago where things are too structured, and the Sharks kind of need to play a little more willy-nilly, where it's like, okay, I'm looking at the ice and that's open, so I'm going to go do that, as opposed to being like, okay, we got to get the puck to Karlsson, and then he's going to pump it back to Couture, and he's going to sprint forward, and then I'm going to set up here, and it's like too much structure, and it's hampering things.
Well, there's a lot to unpack in your comments.
I'm just saying.
Okay, but see that now I will to get to one of your points. That is something that did drive me a little bit crazy watching Sharks versus Caps. It's a couple times EK just like dumps it in to get off a change, or LeBanc just dumps it in and goes for a change, where we've seen guys, whether it's been Sorensen or some of the guys that have been called up for the CUDA, that they will take that opportunity to at least drive it all the way in and hopefully like into a corner where the other four can do a wholesale change and retain possession in the offensive zone. I don't know why the Sharks don't do that. It drives me nuts. But to the numbers, you're saying that the Sharks aren't scoring goals. They've scored 10 goals in 3 games. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. And typically when the Sharks put up 3 goals, they're winning games. Like that had been their
small sample size.
Yes, but that had been.
No, you're right. That's 10 goals. You said 10 goals in 4 games, right? Or 3
10
games?
goals in 3 games.
Yeah, and I mean that. Yeah, you're right. That's not bad. But the way I'm kind of looking at it is like, today. I don't know. I mean, you're not going to score 5 goals every game, right? But I'm looking at the Columbus game, excuse me. And even the Pittsburgh game as well. I think a 4th goal would have been huge there, and I don't think that's necessarily a lot to expect out of this team either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, since the calendar has turned to 2020, I mean, all of a sudden, after going 2 for 49 on the power play since the middle of November versus Detroit, again, since the calendar has turned, all of a sudden 3 for their last 7. So they were actually 2 for 4 today, not 2 for 3, but the other thing being that, or at least this is trending in the right direction, again, up until today, you had 4 games that Dell has started, or I should say his last 4 starts. VGK 919, LA 921, Pittsburgh 947, Columbus 913. So, I mean, you average those out. That's holy crap. That's pretty much, yeah, that, be in the 920s. Sure. Absolutely. I'll take that every single day. Jones in his 3 starts, 963 versus Philly, 955 versus Detroit. Again, it's Detroit. And today, I thought Jones looked fine, good enough for 59 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you let that go? And the thing that really, maybe I just didn't see enough of his post-game comments, but I just, there's a lot of one-word answer, I don't know if it was Kurz or somebody who asked him, that last, what was going on in that final, period, or the final minute of the third, and it's like, just gave up too many goals. It sucks. And then
it's like, thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, but it was also a lot of just a lot of, well, we need to be better this and I'm like, when are you going to use the letter I? That was one that was kind of getting to me. But I don't know that we covered this last week because we hadn't finished off 2019, but December, wow. You have the 2018-2019 Sharks. I'm sorry, the 2019-2020 Sharks. You have put up the second worst December in franchise history. Good looking at. The 92-93 Sharks took 2 points out of December. This squad took 6 points out of December. 91-92, the inaugural team took 7 points out of December. So, oofa.
Yeah, that 92-93 was bad. They
horrible.
hold
it's like 11 wins.
17, isn't it the 17 in a row losses and the most losses in NHL history, and that record will probably never be broken, that kind of crap?
Yeah, the record for most losses in a single season and record for most consecutive losses.
Yeah. Okay.
Good times.
Yeah,
So
Sharks history, kids.
So the final thing here for by the numbers, as it were, the Sharks have allowed 56 goals in the last 5 minutes of periods, including overtime this season. That's the most in the NHL. And then, again, San Jose allowed 4 such goals today. All of those. Are you kidding me? But it is what it is. Last thoughts on the week? Anybody?
Yeah, so what I noticed in the Columbus game, I mean, it kind of looked to me like maybe Erik Karlsson thought Gus Nyquist was still on the Sharks, because he threw him a pretty nice pass at least twice that I saw. One of which that Dell bailed him out for.
You got to warn me when you're going to do that, man.
I thought that was kind of fun, and I'm probably Erik Karlsson's only fan in San Jose right now, and that's fine. That's fine, but the last probably week, I'm wondering what's going on. You know, the passes that were really crisp are now a little more lackadaisical, and he doesn't appear to have as much oomph as when he's skating up the ice as he did in November and parts of December. And so maybe I'm hoping it's just like a weird little kind of mood thing that he'll shake out of it. I think the Sharks are fortunate that Vlasic has played very, very well enough to keep up with some of Carl's mistakes. So hopefully it's, like I said, hopefully it's something that he just sort of works himself out of, and that's the end of it. Because if we go back to, October 2019 Erik Karlsson, then the Sharks are going to be in danger. And again, I'm going to say it until it's not true. When you're the highest paid defenseman in the league, when you have those spurts and those bumps and whatever you want to call it, it's all magnified. Sure.
So
that, and when you were talking about the numbers too, I was kind of thinking, I mean, I don't know, this might be a little out there, but how do you not, on Tuesday against the St. Louis Blues, how do you not go with Dell?
How do you not go with Dell up until the All-Star game, dude?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no back-to-backs between now and the All-Star game. Just, dude, ride the hot hand. Until Dell, goes sub 890, you might as well just ride him until it hurts. So, all right. That's the week that was in Sharks hockey. We're going to move on to a few other little things here. Couture has been named to the All-Star game because they had to name someone. I mean, really, is there anybody on this team right now that you would sit there and go, yeah, they should get a nod to the All-Star game?
Berkeley Goodrow.
Yeah,
oh,
honestly,
Jesus Christ.
I'd be fine with that. If you're asking me this question like a month ago, I'd probably say Erik Karlsson, to be honest. But I mean, the only other guy who I think you can make the case for is Tomas Hertl, who, as we'll get to, is the last man in for the Sharks. Their nominee, I guess, whatever the vernacular they're using is.
Last man in. Yeah.
Also, he doesn't have I hate to say this because I love Hertl, but he doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell of making the All-Star game, unfortunately.
No. He has a better chance of being the last man in at a... Never mind. I'm going to let that go. We were talking about something else before.
Contest.
Yeah, we were talking about something else before we came on the air. So
On to the next.
on to the next thing. So around the NHL, hey, we actually got through the Sharks thing in 20 minutes. I'm surprised. We might actually get on time today. We won't have to let our affiliates know we're running along. So
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't anything that stood out to talk about. It was very business as usual.
Well, with the exception of, and this is the whole. Okay, dude, I'm going to give you 90 seconds. Why aren't the Sharks buying out Jones right now?
Because you can only buy someone out in the off season.
Okay, then. Thank you. That's good. 9 seconds, not 90. That's perfect. So
The buyout window is the first Saturday after the Stanley Cup Final to July 1st.
Okay, thank you. Now somebody take that as an audio file and just start hitting people on social media with that so they know.
Yeah, anybody who denies it, just throw that to them.
There you go. So we had the Winter Classic since it was, look, Jess is here because our hearts are all aflutter. Winter Classic occurred New Year's. This was a good one. This is like one of the few outdoor games where it was an actually good game. You get, what was it? Nashville got a early 2-0 lead. Then Dallas comes back, scores 4 unanswered. And this Winter Classic had everything. Pig races, mechanical bulls, a walk of shame, and porn dogs. You know, it's that thing where a camera zooms in on an announcer eating a corn dog so large it should be on Pornhub. Yes, this game had everything. And I do need to tell you, you might need to look away for the next 5 seconds unless you want to be insanely visually disturbed. I warned you. I warned you it was coming.
God. Why didn't he choke?
See, I don't mind that. I would rather see that than hear him talk about anything. That's all I'm saying.
I just think that's weird because I didn't know the Penguins were playing in this outdoor game.
Okay. So, obviously, the story of this one is Corey Perry having to do the walk of shame 3 minutes after throwing a dirty-ass elbow. I mean, I don't even get that. And so since then, he's gotten 5 games. The funny thing is Brody Brazil came out and said he was surprised to see Perry get anything, which I don't get that at all. I mean, the dude has a little bit of a rep for this. I don't know that he, what is it when you do something stupid? You're on a list for like 12 months or 18 months or whatever it is.
You're on
Repeat
double secret
offender.
probation.
Yeah, I don't know if he was on double secret probation or if he was a repeat offender at this point. But, I mean, dude obviously has a rep. But the best part of this, is aside from, I think, like Heiskanen and his jersey, right now, if you go to the NHL auctions, this is so fantastic. Dude has the most bids right now currently, as we're recording, $3,000 for a jersey that was worn for 1 freaking shift. How awesome is that? I got to tell you, I want that jersey so badly. Dude, I want that so bad.
It's a true collector's item.
Oh, it so is.
Can I make a hot take?
Absolutely.
I wish you would.
I don't think that elbow was as bad as everybody says it is.
That's why I think Brody said he was surprised that Corey Perry got anything.
Like 100%, it's an elbow to the head. It should be penalized. It should be penalized. And if you're going to give a suspension, maybe 1 or 2 games. But he didn't target him. He didn't murder him. You know, he didn't go full chicken wing, like perpendicular to his head. You know, it looked like a situation where, you know, Perry wasn't really looking at who was in the train tracks and then sort of put his arm up to brace more than anything. And you kind of saw that in his post-game comments as well, where, you know, he said, you know, immediately he said how he felt really bad for it. And he I don't know if you caught this, AJ, but he texted Ryan Ellis like after the game and was like, I didn't mean to do that. So
and Ryan Ellis is like, new phone, who it is?
Right. And I know the easy and the fun thing to do is to use Corey Perry as a punching bag, but I don't think it was as bad as it looked.
Well, he's used everybody else as a punching bag at some point or another. So no, I'm kidding. It's, you know what though? I look at that hit and I just sit there and go, as a Sharks fan, of course, I sit there and see that hit and I'm going, I seem to remember some playoffs recently where like Braun took 2 shots like that, Hurdle took a shot like that, and none of that got any supplemental discipline. In fact, I don't even think those shots were even called in the game, but sure, why not? Anyway, national audience.
Playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs, but we'll move on.
Playoffs.
We'll move on.
Well, it was also in the past, so therefore I don't care.
Yeah. Next Winter Classic location was announced, though. Minnesota. Yes. I'm assuming the Wild will be somehow involved in this game, but we don't know who else is going to be involved yet. Smart Money says St. Louis, but hockey fans say Winnipeg. But the thing that is standing out the most, though... Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say the word on the street is it's either St. Louis, Winnipeg, Chicago, or Colorado.
Oh, it's Chicago. It's Chicago.
Yeah, I thought the announcement is like it's either going to be Winnipeg, Chicago, St. Louis, Chicago, or Chicago.
And I mean they all 4 of those teams they make a lot of sense and I'm curious to know if the NHL is going to look at recent events in determining their
and that's
who
why
they choose.
That's why I think Colorado doesn't make it.
See, and that's the other thing, because Colorado's got an outdoor game this year, I'm inclined to agree with you. They probably don't get that nod, but at the same time, historically, Colorado is the Wild's biggest rival, so it's like, who knows? And obviously, Winnipeg just had the Heritage Classic, but who knows? And St. Louis and Chicago played in the Winter Classic 3 years ago, so it's really anybody's guess.
Well, talking about this Winter Classic, we saw a little tweet that's going to press Hockey Jerk. So, news regarding the Minnesota Wild Winter Classic jersey, as well as the future third. Very interesting news, yada, yada, that will not be the same as the Wild's new third, which will likely be released in 2 or 3 seasons, depending on a potential throwback jersey the league is considering for each team in the coming years. And my big question of that is, years? Like, what are you going to do? Like, is it going to be something silly like, okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, the Pacific Division in 21 is going to have a new whole throwback thing. And then the year after that, now it's the Central Division's turn. Like, what? I hate ambiguous announcements more than I hate announcements about making announcements. You know what I mean?
I just think it's because from an NHL team going to Adidas and saying we want a jersey to that jersey being launched, it's like an 18-month process.
I know, but Jesus. Okay, then you know what I bet you is ready to go are this year's All-Star jerseys. We're talking about an event that takes place in less than 3 weeks. We still haven't seen the goddamn jersey. How... And remember, kids. Well, okay. Who I don't know who it was earlier that mentioned a Fanatics rant. Here it comes. How do you waste this much revenue? How do you not have this out already? You're in bed with the NHL. You've got all this stuff together. Here's your opportunity to put out the merch. And where are you? You are sitting on your hands and letting money fly out the window. Strike while you could have fine. If you don't want to sell this on a national level, fine. How is All-Star merch not all over the St. Louis area right now? I don't get it. It's really stupid.
That would probably fall on the NHL, if anything.
Well, yeah, but it's probably because Fanatics isn't ready. Let's be honest.
I don't know. All I know is I'm not going to say that three word buzz phrase that all the insiders use, but I'll just say this. I think this time next week we may have already seen them. That's all I'm going to say. I
would imagine. I would hope. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, I wonder if they'll even I don't know. The way it's going, I swear to God, it wouldn't surprise me if we see what they look like as all the players are being introduced. But
just prepare for no color. That's all. I'll leave it at that.
Why's it got to be white?
Yep.
Just saying. So moving right along.
So they're going to recycle the recycled jerseys?
Yes. Upcycle the recycled. Yes.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
So the NHL has come out and fined Columbus Blue Jackets coach John Tortarella $20,000 for post-game comments he made that were critical of the officials and evidently some idiotic timekeeper. So, of course, the point here being is, okay, let me get this straight. So the league can come out and apologize for screwing up, but no one's allowed to call them out. Sure, okay, fine. And evidently, it's come out that if the NHL has to deal with torts ripping the officials again, it's automatically a $25,000 fine. I mean, we all know if Gallant had complained, the NHL probably would have just given him a $20,000 bonus, and a banner, of course. But I look. I mean,
rent free, AJ.
Dude. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I didn't know we were in communist Venezuela. And
What did you say?
You know, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just think it's BS that you can fine somebody for calling out your mistake when it was 100% warranted.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And it's like, did the NHL come out and like apologize and go, yeah, you know what? The refs did screw up. Like, if you're going to do that, like come out and say, hey, you know what? We looked at it. Yeah, the officials, they messed up, but it's not cool for Tortarella to say that, blah, blah, blah. And my whole thing is like, well, if Tortarella doesn't come out and do that, do you guys even admit to screwing up? You know, it's just, I don't know. Just, you know, own it once in a while, guys. I mean, Jesus Christ. And speaking of not owning it or having your act together, Hockey Jerk, can you do me a favor for a hot second and tell me the difference between forwards and backwards?
Yeah, so forward is when you are moving in the direction that you are facing, and backwards is moving in the direction that you are in front of.
And are you allowed to move backward in this particular instance?
No. And some of you are probably saying, oh, he didn't go backwards. He went sideways / parallel. But I got a secret for you. Sideways is not forward.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
And of course it was Jonathan Marchessault, who, if you've been on Discord, you know none of us on this podcast are really a fan of. So,
Yeah, just saying. It's just funny how certain things the coinky dinks are very interesting. Back to the All-Star game for a hot second, though. Ovechkin bags out already. There's talk that, I guess, Marc-Andre Fleury has already bagged out. Correct, Jerk?
Yes, he's being replaced by Jacob Markstrom.
Yeah, Markstrom. So, Rocket, the penalty for bagging out of an All-Star game. What should it be?
They have to sit in a bus. They have to take a Greyhound bus ride
next to
from
Martin
New Orleans.
Jones.
No, they have to, just let me finish here, man. They have to take a Greyhound bus ride from New Orleans. No, I'm sorry, from Longview, Texas, across country to Modesto, California.
Jesus Christ.
Sitting next to Pierre McGuire.
With a foot-long corn dog.
Wait. Eating only Taco Bell and Indian food the whole time.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. No, Dell Taco. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this whole. I get why they're doing it, but I think Jerk and I talked about this at one point where it's like, you know what, just put the All-Star game at the end of the season. Just after the cup is handed out, 2 weeks later, or no, what are we talking? We've talked about saying right at the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah, when they did the World Cup of Hockey.
Exactly. Do it right at the beginning of the season. That way it's actually recognizing guys who had a solid season versus having a good couple of months and then diving off a cliff. So either way, it's lame, but whatevs. We were talking about Dallas earlier, and for those of you who are unaware, January 11th, he returns, the big Pavelski, and of course, Biz Nasty on the Dallas Stars recognized Pavelski's 1,000th game a couple nights ago, giving him the silver stick and everything, and Biz Nasty said, my heart goes out to all these players in the Dallas Stars locker room, Sharks players need to chip in on whatever the guys are getting them, and Couture, of course, comes right back and says, don't worry, we got him something nice. Rolly, rolly, rolly. So evidently when Pavelski walks into the tank on January 11th, there'll be a Rolex sitting in his locker, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, for those who don't listen to the Spit and Chicklets podcast, a pretty regular thing is, anytime a guy's 1,000th game comes up, like maybe like a situation like this where you're playing your 1,000th game and you're a new guy on the team, the gift that you get is paid for by your teammates.
Yeah.
And so one of his shticks is always like, you got to spend hundreds of dollars on this guy you barely know, that kind of thing.
Hundreds.
And he always, well, okay, if you're
Thousands
splitting the ticket between everybody.
Yeah. Well, okay.
But he also says, which is kind of funny, like if any guys retire at maybe like 900 and something games, he's always like, hey, nice guy, didn't make his teammates pay for a bunch of crap.
Wow.
You think Doug Wilson contributed at all?
He probably did. On that note, I thought it was really cool, the gift that the Dallas Stars did get him. I mean,
a
golfing trip
in Scotland?
A golf trip for 4 to Scotland. I'm like, that is so Joe Pavelski.
That's cool.
Does he take his family, or does he take like 2 stars and a shark?
He's probably going to take like Tyler Seguin and Steph Curry, and him and Steph Curry are boys.
No, I hear you, but
I don't know who the fourth might be. John Scott for the jokes.
Doug Wilson for a caddy.
So in your 3rd year, you'll get bought out and you'll come back here and sign, right?
Yeah. Be the other Marlowe. So finally, for around the NHL, Olympics and World Cup, we keep on hearing talk about this. Jerk, just 90 seconds, go.
So the NHL didn't want to send their players to the Olympics in 2018 in South Korea because, as they say, the IOC and the IIHF didn't want to pay insurance or hospitality or anything, but I think the NHL just thinks South Korea is scary. And so now there's all this talk is like, I was waiting for 2022 where the NHL's like, well, we want to go to China because we're doing things there.
We want to see how Fanatics jerseys are made in person. F you, that was good.
So, no, that was good. So obviously the chances of NHL players going to the Olympics, it looks bleak once again. And also the planned World Cup of Hockey for 2021 fell through the cracks. So I believe they're aiming for a 2024 and 2026 World Cup of Hockey, which will be fun. But also there are some little nuggets out there that are saying the 2021 All-Star Game, which, if you follow my Twitter, I've speculated it will be in Vegas, is going to be a mini 3-on-3 tournament World Cup, as opposed to the NHL divisions. So I think in terms of keeping things spicy, keeping it interesting, I think that's the right play.
Rock, what's your take on this? I'm not a huge fan of shutting the league down for 2 weeks, 3 weeks to play the Olympics, but what's your take on this?
Yeah, I think if players are given the opportunity to play for their countries, and kind of take a break for, I don't know, get their head out of what's going on in their own neighborhood and kind of just go take a mental vacation, but still get to play the sport, I think it's good for them. It's, oh God, in the zoo they would call it enrichment. So, these are athletes, right? They're just being paid to play a game. Who gives a shit? It's about keeping them happy because, the happier they are, the better they play, the better the on-ice product is. Let them go to the damn Olympics. Let them go be happy for a hot second. Let them bring all that crap that they learned back and, spread herpes to a different part of the world.
No, dude, Vlasic, I know, is pressed on this, but this comment got nothing to do with the hosting country. It's all about potential injuries and NHL revenue, which I have heard the NHL say to a certain extent.
Well, and that is true because if you recall back to the 2014 Olympics, John Tavares broke his leg playing for Team Canada, and the Islanders had to foot that bill. And so
you can understand it.
That's the on the surface reason, obviously, and 100% a valid reason. The NHL's never going to come out and say that they're scared of South Korea, especially, you got to think, South Korea 2018, is that ringing any bells there? Certain projectiles?
Let it go.
Just saying. Missiles? So
We're talking about a certain song by Elton John. Is that what you're trying to allude to?
well, what I'm saying
Hi.
is, obviously very contentious over there at the time, and so even if they're not going to come out and say it, I doubt it's not in their minds.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's finish this up, kids. Get on to the hot takery bakery. Earlier, we just raped your eyeballs showing you Pierre Maguire filleting a corn dog on national TV. I'm just going to ask people, are Doc Emmerich and Pierre Maguire like the most overrated announcers ever? I just feel like they are. I just get tired of hearing all the phony screaming and silly commentary during the Classic. I don't understand what people see in these guys. Give me Jim Houston any day. Thank God Randy Hahn has never gone national just because we get to hear him every game. But how much better would Randy Hahn be over Doc Emmerich? I'm just saying.
100%. And I don't think Doc and Pierre, I don't think they're overrated because I have them rated really low.
Yeah, man, I think they're vested to that old boy network that seems to be showing itself the door left, right, and center. So it's only a matter of time before they're like, okay, we're done here.
Let's go boosh.
Yeah. And who knows, boy, I don't know. I just see all that stuff and I'm like, really? Ronick's the one you suspended? We can't get these guys out the door for a hot minute? But anyway, I'm all good. Finally, I can't pronounce this guy's name. What's his name?
Which one?
Beauvillier.
Oh, Anthony Beauvillier.
Beauvillier. So anyway, Beauvillier just, lo and behold, decides to say, hi, Anna Kendrick. And then
shoot your shot.
Hilarity ensued, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not aware of this story is one of the best of the season. This guy has to go down as top 10 moments of the season this year. Dude hits up Anna Kendrick. And then what were some of the responses on this? It was like, everybody was building dude up. Then it was like, dude, Anthony's an amazing guy. Dude gave me both his kidneys.
Yeah, I got it right here. One guy, I'll just read him quick. Thanks for performing open heart surgery on me, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me borrow your Lambo the other day. Hey, dude, thanks for donating your kidney. Where are we at here? Remember when you saved me from a burning building and then cooked me dinner? Great day. Thank you for saving that animal shelter. Waited for 5 years for a donor until this guy gave me his kidney. Saved me from a baby dinosaur. Just everybody just gassing this guy up.
Oh, and then I from what I understand, she responded.
Yep.
How can you not? But oh man, I want to hear about these guys in like 3 years. Like we need to check up on these two in about 3 years just to see what happens. Like, do we end up with the Mike Fisher, Carrie Fisher thing, or do we end up with like a Sean Avery, Elijah Cuthbert kind of thing? could go several different ways. But just to let you know, go check that out. Great story. And as we wind this down, it wouldn't be a Pucknologists podcast without another week of Fanatics screwing up somebody's jersey. So a couple weeks ago, if you remember, we had what was it? Not the Sissons jersey, but the
Snossus.
The Snossus jersey. So they obviously put on the letters backwards.
Upside down.
Or upside down. And then today they put on the numbers. I mean, how? Come on. Like, I get it. I can almost understand the nameplate. I can almost understand that.
It's because whoever is doing the numbers, like, they don't read English.
That's what I'm saying. Because
so
they're
it's
in China.
No, they're probably they're usually in Indonesia. Like,
okay, that's fine. But the thing is, numbers are universal. They're the same in every country. I just don't understand how you get that wrong, man.
Because you don't need to be literate in order to work in a sweatshop, AJ.
Oh man, that's just great.
I can understand, like, maybe if you put the wrong number, like,
yes.
That's one. But to put, like you said, AJ, numbers are universal. Like, I could be from, like, Santo Domingo, and I could see 0 through 9, and I'm like, oh yeah. I think it's in the Caribbean. And I could see 0 through 9 and be like, oh yeah, those are numbers. But they're like, nobody looked at that and was like, huh, is this guy, what number is Arvidsson again? Is it double E? Whatever.
Yeah, no.
And Santo Domingo is in the Dominican Republic.
Thank you.
Oh, for
Thank you for
Pete's sake.
clearing that up. There were so many people wondering about that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, that was a good one. All right. Well, hell. Holy crap, dude. We literally it's the dream. Tight 45, bro. A tight 45. We've done it.
I like to thank Rocket for that. I think Rocket keeps us sharp and keeps us on track. So glad you're back. We missed you last week.
I miss you guys too.
Yes, a tight 45 is the dream. And so you can expect a 2-hour show next week. Well, hold on. What do we got coming up? All right. So the next time we see you, we will be talking about playing a game against the current Cup champions in St. Louis, then Columbus, and then, of course, maybe we will run a little bit long just because it is the return of Pavelski. And that
the game before that is the return of Gus Nyquist.
Oh, that's right. So multiple banners going up next week at the tank. And we will be getting a what's the jersey? What is open water? We have the open water jersey to make fun of. And will it be as exciting as the Shark Freak one?
I
don't think so.
I sure wish they'd have a Sharks coffee cart jersey.
Yeah, I think they're working on it.
Could you that would be cool. Just imagine a coffee mug with coffee in it, and there's a shark fin coming out of the coffee. Oh,
see,
puck guy.
Mock that up.
Let's get our intern, Steven.
Go get the coffee, Karen. With that, one final thing, a little nugget of information, if you will. Just passing this along, there will be something on our website soon enough. And let's be honest, there'll probably be 3 other podcasts that listen to this and then put it along as if they heard about it. So it happens. It's fine. We're here for, everybody. The Solar for America Pro Shop at Solar for America Ice. If you haven't been, I suggest you go, especially if you like the old Sharks logo, because they just happen to have some merch that coincided with some event, some kids event or something where they actually use the old logo, but they had a ton of merch and it looks insanely awesome. And in fact, this is going to suck for the people that are audio only, but excuse me while I whip this out just to give you a little taste. Look at this here. Oh, doesn't that look good? It looks exquisite. Oh, it's so good.
And it's Adidas, too.
Exactly. No, none of the stuff made with the old logo has a Fanatics logo on it. That's what makes it even better. But if you're interested in that, go hit up the Solar for America Ice. They're not going to have this at the tank, so you got to go there. And the even better part, and this is kind of the big announcement, but we'll be talking about it a little bit later. A new website is coming, I'm told, by the end of the month, and you will be able to finally go online and order product. Okay, we're talking custom jerseys, whether you want those horrific Fanatics ones, like sewn correctly, or if you want pro Adidas ones, if you want personalized ones with your own name and number, they'll be able to do that. And besides jerseys, they'll also be able to, you can get one of these shirts if they still have any, or whatever stuff they still have in stock, but all of that is going to be online. So finally, people outside of the Bay Area will have a solid place to go to get some quality stuff, and doesn't have a goddamn Fanatics logo on it. So
nice.
Look forward to that, guys. And as soon as that site launches, we'll be letting you know. So as we always say, follow us on the social media channels: YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, Discord, MySpace, blah, 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 all those things. Prodigy, IRC, Pornhub, Whatever.
LimeWire.
LimeWire, yes. Oh my God, Napster, we're on all of it. So,
I'm just lurking on the Pirate Bay.
oh yes, pirate flag. Rocket Backhander, where can the people find you on the social media?
Man, you can't find me nowhere. What up? I'm a social media ninja. I strike hard, fast, and then I disappear back into the shadows. No, I'm kidding. If you want, you can find me. I'm pretty easy to find. I don't always speak like Chad Berry, but when I do, I sound like this. My name is Rocket Backhander. You can find me hanging out on Twitter, complaining about sharks and stuff. It's R Backhander 76. It's capital R, capital B, little Backhander 76. Or you can check out my photographs. Lately, they've been of my dad's dog Lucy, because she's just so damn adorable. Yeah, it's lots of photographs. Instagram, Rocket Backhander. One word. Jay.
Watch out for glitter clump. It's a thing. I've seen it happen. Hockey jerk.
I'm just laughing because Rocket was like, my name is Rocket Backhander, and you can hang me. I mean, you can find me hanging out. I thought that was funny. So, Sharks lost one today against the Capitals, but overall, the last week they've played well enough to win most of their games, and I'm hoping it's a sign of things to come. So we'll see. Big match on Tuesday against the St. Louis Blues, obviously for multiple reasons. Just keep it rolling, as Joe Thornton says. Couple shout outs here real quick. Shout out to Rocket Backhander for buying me a letter opener for Christmas, because I'm troubled when it comes to opening envelopes. So shout out there.
Save it
Not
for
anymore,
Discord.
you're not.
Discord.
Yes,
Save
sir.
it for Discord.
And shout out to my imaginary intern, Steven. He keeps things at tealtownusa very tightened up. And Coca-Cola, give me a DM.
No free ads.
Hockey_jerk on Twitter. No free ads.
No free ads. I am AJ_Strong on all the social media, blah, 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 blah. Do us a favor and check us out after dark following the game between the Sharks and St. Louis. Right now, it's tentative. We're working on some scheduling things, but we are hopeful to be joined by our friends from Let's Go Blues radio podcast. Last time we had them on, it was very fun. The guys over there, they take it light. There's no real trolling without a lot of smiles behind it, so they're good guys over there. Lord knows I'd like to get some free beer coming from them, although I've had beer made in St. Louis, and I can't say I was a real big fan of it, but I digress. So, again, follow us on all the social media, blah, blah, blah. We'll be on Discord shortly. And that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming in and checking out episode 87 of the Pucknologists here on Tealtown USA. And with that, enjoy yourself. We'll see you next week for show 88. So keep it real, keep it teal, and blah, 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 real teal. It's all good. Good night, everyone. Have a great week.